Hi everyone, it's Nicole McGurk for the Simon Says Stamp Cold Hands, Warm Hearts Release Blog Hop, and today I have a card share featuring 4 of the new products that are available today, October 3rd, 2014 from Simon Says Stamp. This card is a cute little snow scene complete with a snowman all decked out with his ski goggles and his skis and ski poles and a couple little bird friends and his stocking cap. To start my card, I am using the bundle of stitched shapes to die cut some Simon Says Stamp Sea Glass cardstock. This is a great stitched rectangle. This is going to be the card base. This set comes with a bunch of really great basic stitched shapes, really versatile, lots of great ways to use these. I've also die cut a stitched rectangle from some white cardstock. Now, once I have that stitched cardstock, I'm going to go ahead and take another new product from the Cold Hands, Warm Hearts release, and this is the Stitched Slopes and Hills die collection. These are some really wonderful sloping shapes, perfect for creating snowdrifts, waves, all kinds of landscape type scenes, or just some very geometric type designs on your cards. I die cut one of the hills from one side of the long sides of the stitched rectangle, and I'll flip it around and die cut another hill from the other side so I can get 2 snow hills from this one rectangle. Now, before I adhere those snowdrifts to the bottom of my landscape style card, I am going to quickly mask off the stitching area from the stitched design to the edge of the rectangle so that I don't get any embossing paste on this part of the card. I'm using an older product. It's not, I say older, but it's not old. It is the Falling Snow stencil from Simon Says Stamp and some white embossing paste here that I'm applying with a palette knife. This is going to give the background that illusion of falling snow and that wonderful, wonderful texture. Now when I pop it up, you can see all of those great little dots there. I'm going to set it aside to dry for maybe 10 to 15 minutes. I'll go clean my stencil because I don't want any of that embossing paste to dry to it, my palette knife as well. And then when it's dry, I'll remove the Post-it tape and adhere those snowdrifts, each with some foam adhesive. You can kind of see it's popped up there. Next, I'm ready to start stamping my designs from the Simon Says Stamp Build a Snowman and Snow Gear stamp sets. I'm combining the 2 sets. The images are approximately the same scale, so they'll work really well together, I thought, and I thought it would be fun to, instead of making a snowman with the cute little Christmas lights and things that are in the Build a Snowman stamp set, instead make a little skiing snowman, just kind of a fun little whimsical card. So I'm stamping a bunch of the images here. There might be multiples of some of them. I didn't like the first snowman. There was a little black smudge you can see up on his head. Same with the skis. A lot of times with new stamps, you need to stamp them a couple times to kind of get any of that packaging types residue off of them, and so I always tend to stamp a couple times, especially when they're new. Now once I have everything stamped, I am going to go ahead and color in any of my line art images with Copic markers. I decided to go with a non-traditional color scheme for my card here and went with some aquas and bright pinks instead of maybe traditional reds and greens. I thought this would be really fun, something a little different, and wouldn't necessarily have to be used for the holiday season. This could be used just for, lots of different things, depending on what you put on the inside of the card. So I colored in the hat with some aquas and teals, and I'm coloring in the little beanie there, or the little pom-pom ball rather, on top with some pinks. And you can go over this as many times as you need to get the color and the shading that you want for the hat. Now I'm adding just a few little dots there on the pom-pom, which might be easier to see in the photos, that give it that illusion of those cute little pom-poms that they put on those hats. Now the scarf from Build a Snowman is a solid stamped image. So I wanted to add a little texture to my scarf. So I'm simply taking a white pin and going over it, making lines back and forth to give it a little plaid design. It softens the scarf and really makes it fun and interesting. The mittens are also from Build a Snowman. I stamped those with the Simon Says Stamp Doll Pink ink, and I colored in that open heart there in the center with those same aquas I used for the hat. Now this snow green Copic marker is great to add just a tiny bit of texture to my snowman. I don't want to color him much. I basically want to leave him solid white, especially with so much color going on everywhere else on my card. For the goggles, I started out using a little of that same snow green, and then I was feathering in a little bit of the cool grays, and I didn't really like that, so I skipped to the outside frame of the goggles using the same pinks that I used for the pom-pom ball. And while I did that, I kind of tried to think about how I wanted to color in those goggles, and I did a Google search and for ski goggles, and they came up with great designs, and it really helped lead me into how I wanted to color in these ski goggles, and I think the end result turned out exactly the way I wanted it to look. You want it to look kind of light reflective, and so I had started out using the snow green again and some cool gray markers, and you can see I had to go over it quite a few times to really achieve the look I wanted. I didn't give up. I didn't restamp the whole image and color it in again. I decided to stick it out, and I'm glad I did. Now it's not finished at this point. I really needed to let it dry for a minute so that those cool grays did not bleed out into the rest of my design. So while I'm waiting for that alcohol ink in the Copic markers to dry, I colored in the skis with some cool grays, and I'm simply layering and building up these gray colors until I achieve the look that I want. I went around kind of one side with a darker marker and then blended in with my mid-tone until I got to my lightest color that I used for these skis. And then I went ahead and went back to my ski goggles and added another layer of color all the way out, and I was really happy with that. And then I just took a white gel pen and added some little light reflective marks there on the ski goggles. Now I did stamp a mouth on my snowman. I thought that it was going to work out, and it ended up not working out, and I didn't have to use a different snowman either. I simply covered up the mouth. So I left that in there because it's really cute and it would work great for a different design, but it didn't work for this one because of the size of the hat and ski goggles. Once I have everything colored and ready to go, I'm going to add my coordinating die cuts for these stamp sets and die cut everything out, and I'm ready to build the scene. So you can see here I discovered that my accessories were a bit too large, so the mouth wasn't going to work, but I was really, really glad that I was able to salvage the design and I didn't have to redo it. So I'm kind of fidgeting here with the nose a little bit, add a little bit more glossy accents to hold down his nose, and lay out my scene to make sure that I like how everything is coming together before I commit to gluing anything else in place. Once I kind of have that, I can start gluing on his little twig arms here. I'll pop him on there again. I really like to adjust and work on it as I go, as I build the scene, to make sure I am allowing enough room, A, for my stamped greeting, and B, for all of the other elements that I'm incorporating into this snowy scene. Now I wanted to pop those little mittens around the top of one of the ski poles, so I just snipped a little area there above the left mitten and just laid it over the ski pole and glued it in place. And I've stamped a couple of birds with several colors of Simon Says Stamp ink, and I stamped the tiny little hat from Build a Snowman and I'm going to color that in with Copic markers. Now this particular image did not have a coordinating die. No problem. I simply cut it out to look like the rest of the images, leaving a little bit of a white space all the way around so that I could pop that hat on one of those cute little birds. So I will simply cut all of that out and glue it in place. Now the scene is pretty much put together at this point. All I need is to stamp the greeting and finish gluing down anything that I haven't already. So I have his hat, I'll glue that in place. To stamp my greeting, I'm inking up part of the phrase with some Simon Says Stamp slate gray ink, and then the word snow I inked up with Malibu rather, Simon Says Stamp ink. And then I will simply stamp that right there to the left of my snowman, and I'll set that one little bird there to the left on top of my stamped greeting. Now I'm adding tiny little dabs of glue to the snowman's hands. I noticed I forgot to glue those ski poles in place. And now that I have that done, I'm ready to, everything is here now. So I can go ahead and adhere all of these elements directly to my card base. I know everything's going to work out, so I won't be ruining anything by gluing it somewhere that, and then having to move it later. There's that bird standing on top of the greeting. I think that's a fun little touch, plus it adds just a little bit of a pop of color and interest to that left side of the card, and he's wearing a cute little stocking cap. The ski poles, I did need to cut a little foam adhesive because those snowdrifts at the bottom of the card are popped up, and then I'm tucking elements into, or in between those two snowdrifts, I guess I should say. I'm needing to use a little foam adhesive behind the top portions of these elements so that they are on the same layer, I guess is what I want to say, as the snowdrifts, if that makes sense. So I'm just adding a tiny bit of foam adhesive behind those. Now I felt like the birds needed just a little bit of glitz and glimmer, so I'm using the Wink of Stella clear glitter pen over them. I also dotted in their eyes with a black gel marker. Added a little Wink of Stella to the hearts on the mittens as well. Now I love using glossy accents on bird beaks and noses and things, and so I thought my snowman's carrot nose needed a little glossy accents as well. So I'll simply lay on that glossy accents, and I'll need to set it aside to dry for a little bit after I apply that to his nose. I added a little glossy accents to where the wings are on the birds, and then I took the Stardust Sakura glitter marker and traced over the word snow. Finally, I will attach this whole panel to a white card base. Oh, I forgot, I did add a little bit of that glitter pen then to my scarf. I love the white plaid that I did a little bit earlier, but I wanted a little bit of glitter for my snowman, so I just simply went over that really quickly with my glitter pen. And then added a few to the little pom-pom on his stocking cap as well. Thanks for watching this video showcasing the brand new products from the Simon Says Stamp Cold Hands, Warm Hearts release. The supplies I've used are listed and linked below the video on YouTube. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.